Yay, it's recording. Okay, hi everybody. Today is going to be an interesting evening. We are going to be talking about reports. And why do we care? Why do we care about reports? We have a whopping 6 of us on tonight, but you know what? You guys are getting firsthand experience, how to pull reports, what do they mean, and what will they do for your business? So the very first thing I'm going to do is, first of all, let me introduce myself. I'm Amy Meyer, National Marketing Director. I Team Trigger, and then we've got Christy Nix on here too, who's the NMD for Team PCS. And so we're super excited to be showing you guys how do you use reports to grow your business, because all of you are at that point in your business where you need to care about this kind of thing. I think, and Christy could probably tell you, she kind of blindly went through life, and I did too, for a long period of time, thinking, oh, whatever happens, happens, and it is what it is, and all that, until you realize that we have control of our own businesses. We have control over how our business grows, and we're very aware now of what the numbers are, because the numbers mean things, right? They mean a lot, especially when it comes to growing your business and growing your paycheck. So the very first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to share my screen, and we're going to talk about where, do you guys see that? Just want to make sure, give me a thumbs up if you can see my virtual office. Okay. So every month you get reports from corporate, right? And most people just delete it because they don't know what they mean. They don't know what they're saying, and they don't know how to use it to their benefit. And that's why we're doing this tonight. So the very first thing that we're going to do is I'm going to show you how do you pull a report. This is very basic stuff, but it's very basic stuff. If you haven't been taught, it's very important to understand. If you go to My Team Data, and then you go over here to Former Reports under My Team Data, right there. You click on it. Now there are 2 reports on here that I use all the time. All right, and these are the reports that you will get sent to you throughout the month. But of course, come on. Oh, technical difficulty. Okay, here we go. Whew, I was getting a little concerned. Number 3 and number 5, your downline growth and current PV report. You'll want to click yes, and then you'll scroll down to number 5 under preferred customer genealogy and click yes. Okay, and then you'll scroll down even further, make sure that is the correct email address, and hit submit. And when you do that, it'll pop up here saying that those reports were sent to your email. Okay? Let me go ahead and stop share. Now, I want all of you guys to do that right now. Log into your virtual office, and I want you to give me a thumbs up and hold it up once you guys figure that out. So again, My Team Data, and then on the far left, you're going to see Former Reports. You guys see that yet? I get a head nod from Christy. Yeah. Okay, Heather, you got that?
Got it.
Okay, and then what numbers are we looking at?
3 and 5.
3 and 5, exactly. So once you click on that, hit submit. And once you give me a thumbs up. We got a 1. Stacy, you got that?
Teresa, you.
I live in the middle of nowhere. I am still logging in. My internet is so slow.
That is awesome. All right, well then we'll just keep talking about him, and then
I wrote it down.
Okay. Beautiful.
Teresa, are you good? Okay.
Say it one more time.
Raquel, did you get yours?
Say it one more time.
Good.
Okay, so go into your, your home screen, My Team Data, Former Reports. Scroll down to option 3, click yes. Option 5, which is the last one, click yes. Make sure that your correct email address is there and click submit.
Okay, hang on. Stay.
Oop, going back.
So option 3, 1, 2, 3.
Yeah, they're numbered on the far left. So do number 3 and then number 5.
Oh, there's the yes.
Yeah.
Oh, I couldn't find it.
Okay.
And number 5, yes.
Awesome.
And submit. Good.
Perfect. Okay.
Everybody
So-
else have that?
Excellent.
Yep, I got it.
Okay.
Now we're going to come back here. We're going to talk a little bit, because I think the key for everybody to understand is when you are doing this, everything we do, we work for small ball. Small ball is so important because small ball is going to create more numbers, and more numbers creates growth, and growth creates bigger paychecks. It creates bigger team members, people who are having successful businesses. So I want you guys to understand that the basic foundation, what we're doing, this is all small ball. Us doing training, you going out and doing a one-on-one with somebody, sitting down to coffee, doing a Facebook party, it's all small ball. Okay. I did this presentation a long time ago, and I knew Christy would love that one. So I just had to leave that in there because it was. Anyways, so CEO, we're CEOs of our own business, right, ladies? Yes? Thumbs up, yes. And that's the important thing. So building a business, creating momentum. You know, and I know, we all know that it's easier to go fast. That as soon as you stop doing your business for a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, it's harder to get back in, right? But once you create momentum, it just becomes a piece of your entire world. You get excited about your business. You wake up so excited to see what's going to happen today. Like, Stacy, you just posting, I got 2 new orders today, and somebody at my husband's work asked about Juice Plus. Like, doesn't that excite you? Every morning when I wake up, I get excited to see what messages are on my phone, because we are creating this incredible momentum, but it's easier to go fast. And we talked about vision. We talked about how to be duplicatable, because the way that we grow this business is to be duplicatable. You grow frontline, you grow wide, and you grow deep. 3-way calls are the basic foundation of our business, because 3-way calls, how many times do we have to say, creates third-party validation. And really, somebody you could be talking to for a long period of time will say yes the second that they hear it from somebody else, because it's not just you telling them, it's somebody else telling them. Getting on calls like RepRap. RepRap was today. A lot of people you guys are all part of Team Shining Star, and Team Shining Star, they are having a Mars, if anybody is involved with image training, they're down at Mars in Florida, and so they had RepRap down there today. It was actually really good. But one thing that I've learned out of all of these is that using reports to your advantage is really how you're going to build this business. So verbology becomes important. What PVC and genealogy, and that's what you guys just pulled. You guys just pulled a PVC report and a genealogy report. And what are these all going to mean? The very first thing that happens, and anytime you guys unmute yourself, this is free flowing. You guys have a question, just hop on and ask, okay? And if I can't answer it, because sometimes, I can try and explain it, but I might not explain it the easiest way. And that's why Christy and I are going to do this together. But, when you're first building a business, there's certain steps that you go through, right? So you make DD, you make VF and fast track, and the very next step is to qualify your business. Can anybody tell me what qualifying your business means?
2,000 points?
Nope, it's 1,000.
Oh.
But 1,000, and what does that mean though? What does 1,000 points mean?
Your qualified business?
Right, but what's 1,000 points of what?
Oh, PVC, is that the right?
Yeah, you can use it like that. It's an actual volume.
Okay.
So we are looking at anybody who's a dealer all the way to sales coordinator. We're looking at promotional volume. And what that means is an accumulation of all the volume that you receive. So let's say you get, we're just going to use Orchard and Garden. I like to I know it's 106 points, but we're going to just call them 100 points for math's sake. But let's say you get 2 orders of Orchard and Garden today and 2 next week. That's 400 points, right? Well, promotional volume means 400 points added together, and then it just keeps adding up over time. Now, hi, you go pray. I love you. Shut it. Okay, I love you. Go shut the door. Go shut the door, please. Sorry. We do this business with our kids, for our kids, right? So now, if I were to break that up in actual volume, let's say all 4 of those orders that you received over those 2 weeks were installment orders. How much of that is paid out each month? Bueller. Don't be shy. It's just math. You guys know? Someone's going to answer. I just know it.
Will you ask it again?
Sure. If I had 2 orders that came in today and 2 next week, and they're all paid out, but they're installment, how much of that gets paid out? How much of the volume is paid out? If it's 100 points in promotional for each one, so that's 400 promotional, but I'm looking at actual. I'm probably confusing the heck out of you guys, aren't I?
Well, it's 25 for each order, right? So 100 total.
Yes, thank you. Thank you.
Okay.
Nailed it. Nailed it. Absolutely. So what PB is telling you is that you need actual volume. So if I had just orchard and garden orders and nothing but, which we don't do, by the way, because everybody I hope is sharing the Trio, but if we did nothing but orchard and garden orders, you would need 40 orders of orchard and garden paid out on installment to equal 1,000, because that's 25 times 40 is 1,000, right? So does that sound like a lot of work to you to have 40 orchard and garden customer orders? I think
Yeah.
so. What if I had orchard, garden, and vineyard, and I had Trio orders, and now I only need 25? Wouldn't you rather try and get 25 orders versus having 40? Doesn't that seem a lot easier to you? Now, keep in mind, there's going to be a ton of people who are going to get complete or a child chewable order, so it's not all just picture perfect math. But the idea behind PB is that you are at 1,000 points of actual volume. But all of you who are not sales coordinators yet, you're working in promotional volume. So you're going to see in reports that your volume you might have like 8,000 in volume or 12,000 in volume, but that's all promotional. That means everything that's added up over the course of time. Now, let's say you make VF, you get qualified, and then you move to sales coordinator. And now you're eligible to be POB qualified, which is 3,000 points. We're not going to go deep into how that all works, because I really want to get to the reports part of it. But I need you to understand what PB is, because you get 5% commission off, or a 5% bonus off of that. And that's huge, because once you make national marketing director, over time, that PB is going to be the biggest part of your paycheck, which is really exciting, especially when it gets into the comma club, just in your PB. So, and that will, all right. So the very first one, which was the first one that I asked you guys to pull? Do you guys remember?
PVC? Wait. PVC?
Yep. So if you guys want to pull open yours, I want you guys to pull up yours just for a second. I'm going to share mine in a second, but I want you to be able to at least open it, so that when we stop screen share, that you guys can actually look at yours and be like, oh, now I know what she's talking about. So I want you guys to open yours up. Let me know when it's open. We good? Okay.
Which one are we opening first?
The PB one, the PVC report, sorry. Okay. All right. So now the PVC report that you're going to pull is a complete snapshot in time. All right. Now, one of the things that I've learned over the course of the last 8 years is that whenever I pull a report, I actually have a folder in my email, and it's literally called JP Reports. And every time I pull a report, I throw it into that folder, because I'm a numbers person. I love numbers. And so I love to kind of, and Christy smiles because she's like, I'm so not a numbers person. Which is legit. Like, there are two kinds of people who love numbers and the people who don't. But I like to kind of put up reports next to each other. So, and because I love numbers so much, I pull these often. Not because I'm obsessed with the numbers, but I really like to see, where was I this time last month, or where was I this time last year? I don't usually go back to a year, but I usually do month to month. So I'll pull like the 15th of December if I had it. And then I like to see, okay, well, where are my distributors at that point as well? So again, snapshot, right? That's what this PVC report, it's a snapshot. And what it's going to tell you is, this is the first page that I think is really important, because it color codes everything. Everything Juice Plus has a color code, which is really cool, because it's going to tell you, once I see a color, a distributor in a color, I can reference back here and say, okay, well, that person is a DD whose title date is more than 59 days old, and their promo PVC is blah, 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 blah. And then you figure out over time what the heck that really means, or just ask your upline and we'll tell you. So let's go ahead and scroll down here. Okay. So these are really important because every line has a purpose. And how many of you we've talked about 645. Does everybody remember 645 training and what 645 means? No, it's really hard to see everybody. No, okay. We need to repost that. Christy, can you remind me, Don Rathman 645 training? Because if you want to grow a business quickly and with a lot of strength, and what I mean by that is that it's strong legs, not just people who are barely getting by. You want to understand what 645 is. 645 is creating what we call an A+ sales coordinator. And I know a lot of you aren't sales coordinators yet, but you will be. And that's the key, is that you will be. And you have to understand how this works. We want you to be customer qualified, not just rely on your dealer. To be qualified, you can rely on your volume plus your dealers and direct distributors to get that 1,000 in volume we were talking about. But how great would it be, and you would make so much more money, and we're talking upwards of $750 to $1,500 a month as a brand new sales coordinator if you were an A+ sales coordinator. Who wants to make $1,500 a month in this business? Okay, I got at least hands up on that one. Wouldn't that be nice? But it really, when you grow a team of people and you grow a very strong customer base, then that's exactly what's going to happen. So keep in mind, this is from the 15th, so this is just a snapshot. But this 6 column right here that I'm seeing, I follow it down. Can you guys see my arrow when I follow down my arrow? I don't know if you guys can see my arrow. Yeah? Okay. So my 6 column is 616 is my current volume, my personal volume right now. Okay. We want at the end of the month that to be 1,600. So I want you guys to write that down. Your 6 column, I want you to have 1,600. This is for an A+ sales coordinator, but it's what we're all working toward. Okay. Now my 4 column is going to give me what my volume plus all my dealers and direct distributors. It's my PB. So it's 950 right now. Okay. Now I want that to be double what my 6 column is. So instead of it being 1,600, I want this to be 3,200 at the end of the month. And then we have our 5 column, and this gets a little confusing because the 5 column is my POB, but it's kind of offset, and it's actually right here, this 1,632. And we want that to be double what our 4 column is going to be, and that's 6,400. Okay, so once you watch Don Rathman, she layers her training to make it easier for everybody of all levels, all the way from dealer to NMD to understand. But these reports are really a key in learning what all of that means. Okay, so let's go back to the beginning. We'll pick my husband as an example. Okay, so James Meyer, that's my husband right here. Now, what this is telling you is he's the number all the way to the left is just where he falls in line with distributors. So he's number 9. His name, he's direct to me, so that's why you see number 1. And this is important too because then you can see who's direct to him. So if you see like a 2, 2, 2, 2, those are all the people that are direct to him. And then when you see a 3, you're actually going to see that these 2 are actually underneath Stephanie. And then, it's just it breaks down into generations, which is pretty cool. Then you see phone numbers, great, woo, and then titles. So he's a sales coordinator. He was promoted to sales coordinator September of 2012. And then you move into like Payline. Now you're going to see this promotional PV. It doesn't apply to him because he's a sales coordinator. So promotional PVC goes away as soon as you're a sales coordinator, because then we talk in terms of actual volume, not promotional volume. 13,724 is what his downline pay line is. These required to qualify. Like, I don't even look at these numbers, to be truthfully honest, because it is a snapshot in time. It's going to change very quickly. And sometimes it changes so fast that the computer on here can't keep up with what we're putting in if we're putting in a lot of orders. So I rely on calling corporate if required to qualify. And what they mean required to qualify, not qualify your business, but qualify to the next promotion level. Okay, so there's a big difference between that. But I look at his, okay, here's his PBQ, his PB. So he has a qualified business right now, and it's because can you guys tell me if he's customer qualified? Can you give me a thumbs up or a thumbs down if he's customer qualified? Okay, we got one thumbs up. Anybody else? Markel, do you want to guess? Do you think thumbs up? Anybody else? Lucy, can you tell? Okay, we got a couple thumbs up. He actually is not customer qualified right now, and the reason why, I know it was kind of a trick question, sorry. 1,041, remember that's the 4 columns, so that includes his volume plus his dealers and direct distributors, but that is not the customer qualified. Customer qualified would be under the 6th column, which would be right here, the 721. So he's close, but he's not quite there yet. Okay? Once you become qualified and anything over 1,000 in actual volume, you start to create an excess volume. And you can have up to 1,000 in excess in your qualified business. So let's look at Lindsay, for example. Lindsay only has 582 left in her excess. So if she doesn't quite reach 1,000 this month, then she's going to keep pulling from her excess. And eventually she won't be qualified anymore once her excess is gone. And they do that because once you qualify or once you promote to VF, you no longer count towards your upline being qualified. You now go into a separate category with POB. So it's a whole different category that you go into. And honestly, you guys need to ask questions if I'm confusing the snot out of you, because it took me like a year to figure out what all this meant. And I don't want it to sound like mer, 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 mer. But again, this is it's information you have to know eventually, and it's good to learn it now. So if you guys have questions, just ask. All right? Anybody have anything for me yet?
Hey, I have something.
Yeah.
I'm wondering if there's someone on here who has team that might be able to show us their report, because I'm looking at the positions in the company, and a national marketing director's PVC report might be scaring the crap out of them.
Yeah, I'm totally okay with that. Does anybody want to share their PVC report?
I just don't know. I know my girls on here. Hold on, I'm looking just to make sure. I know they don't have a PVC report yet because they're all pretty new and they don't have team members.
Okay.
I have one. You can use it. It
You
just
got one? Oh, that's
one.
right. You do have one. Would that be okay, Amy? Would that be a little bit?
That's fine. That's fine. I just pulled it because I didn't want to make anybody feel uncomfortable.
Right. That's right, Heather. I appreciate it if you don't mind sharing. I think everybody's kind of a little bit more closer in the same boat as you are.
That's fine. Yeah.
Okay.
How do I share that? Can you pull it up?
Yeah. Will you? Can you email it to me real quick?
Sure.
It's,
Do I have your email address?
It is Christie, CHRISTIE, Lee,
Okay.
LEE, Nix, NIX @gmail.
Okay.
Okay.
While you're doing that, I'm just going to finish going through the
Yeah, go
lines.
ahead.
Pull yours up. So that 1,000 is the excess, and then 17 right here. This is the year that you guys have gone through PCI compliance. So basically, you renewed your membership as a distributor. 8 is the number of customer orders that you have, and then the 721 is where that's his actual volume. Okay. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and stop share here, and I'll wait until Christy, you can pull up yours. I just didn't want to not finish going through that.
No,
line.
that's good. I realized I was like, this might, that's some goals right there for y'all to have. I'll tell you that. That's a good looking PVC report. I put that on my
On
refrigerator.
the pretty part. You should wait until we get to Kristen's.
Oh my God, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Kristen's is almost a whole page of mine.
Heather, I didn't get it yet, but I'm afraid, let me type it in just in case.
Just sent it.
Okay. Hold on, we're waiting on
Any
this.
questions so far?
Raise your hand if you're overwhelmed with it. It's okay. This
It
is
is.
fun. You guys, this, Heather, I just got it. Fantastic.
Okay.
This is, when you learn this, you learned a new language and you just learned how to take control of your business. This is empowering. So if you're not going through, if you're not reaching to your upline and saying, I want to go through my PVC report again. You're doing yourself a disservice on that.
Well, and the really cool part is to be able to evaluate where you were last month to see the growth that you have this month. And when you have growth, you get excited, you start sharing it more, you get your team excited. And so being able to look at those numbers and understand what they are, knowledge is power. Yeah, you have to understand what all of these mean. So, okay. So here you go. Okay, Heather. So when I'm looking at yours, what I see here obviously is your name, your phone number. You're a DD. You were promoted in October 2016. You've got 1,390 in promo PVC. So are you doing a restart to VF?
I'm not sure. I had some people interested, but nobody pulled the trigger yet. So
We're going to restart her.
Okay. Yeah, definitely something. And then you'll just see this promotional PVC continue to increase over time.
okay.
As you restart, because it's not going to start out fresh when you do a restart. So whenever anybody who does a restart, it doesn't just automatically go to zero. You have to actually use a tracker to be able to track your own volume, or call corporate and they can tell you exactly where you are at this moment in time. So and that has a lot to say too with like you're required to qualify. That required to qualify, that 4610. That is basically telling you that that's what you need required to qualify the slow way. And we don't do the slow way if at all possible, because there's really no reason for it if you have growth in your business. And so we're going to do everything we can to help people fast track, because it's the more financially sound way, because you're going to get bonus money, and it's the more fun way to do it. Right?
Plus, 2,000 points is a heck of a lot easier to get than 4,000 points.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Right? Fast is fun.
Right. So that 167, that's telling me how much you have in actual volume that's paid out this month so far. So whether you have installments or if somebody pays in full, that, you get all of that volume in the month that they pay in full. It just means that you don't get any of that volume, that actual volume, in the remaining 3 months. If you have pay in full orders. And there's nothing wrong with pay in full orders, but what I see is that because you have 4 customer orders, that's showing me you probably have all installment orders. So you can see that these numbers tell you a lot about what's happening in your business. I can tell people have a lot of pay in full orders or if they have a lot of installments based off of the reflection of their actual volume to how many customer orders that they have. Okay. So when we look at 645, we want that 6 column. Right now, yours says 168. We want that to be at what number? You guys remember?
1,600.
Exactly. Your 4 column, which is where it says PBQ, and it says 167. What do you want that to be eventually?
3,000.
400.
3,200.
32.
Oh,
Yes.
sorry. Can't add today.
No, that's good. 3,200. And then right next to it, under POBQ, once you make sales coordinator, what do we want that number to be?
6,400.
Boom. Exactly right, Stacy. Those 3 numbers I want ingrained in your brain, ladies. Okay? I want you guys to remember those numbers forever. That will make you an A+ sales coordinator, and that will make you you will be making more money as a new sales coordinator than some people make as a senior sales coordinator. How exciting is that? Okay. All right. Can you stop sharing on that one, please? Thank you.
Yeah.
Any questions so far? Because we're going to move on to the next report. No questions? Okay. All right. Let's go to the next one. That one is one that I love looking at because I love seeing kind of the progress in my team and where are we going. So the next one is going to be your genealogy, because I think this one, I don't know, I kind of almost think this one's even more important because this tells the story of your business itself. I blindly for years just kind of rolled the dice hoping that people would continue ordering Juice Plus and not looking to see if I had declined orders and not looking to see when orders shipped out. And that bit me in the butt a lot because, it's you make more money keeping your customers than trying to go out and get new customers, right? I mean, it's just logical sense to say customer service is the best thing you could possibly do in this business. And so when we look at this, we have to understand what do all these mean. This report isn't nearly as complicated. It's just merely telling you, let's look under Bailey. It's going to tell you what, who the person the order is under, the address, in this case, she lives in Canada. So their zip code is going to look different than ours, their phone number. But then it's going to tell you, in this case, she's a VF. So it's going to tell you what her, where she is in the business. But for all the customers underneath her, it's going to tell you immediately you see where it says 4I, 12I? That tells you how often it's shipping out. So if it says 4I, that means 4-month installment. If it says just a 4, that means it's a pay in full order and it ships out every 4 months. The next one, like the 12I, you'll only see the 12I when it's a Tower Garden order. And that means it's an installment Tower Garden. So, and then if you scroll down, you'll see like a pay in full. That must have been something like a 1. You'll see a 1. And then it says none next to it. That means there's no expected ship date. That means they probably got some ancillary products like, I don't know, tomato cage or something like that. So let's go back up to that 4I again. And if you keep going to the right where it says August 11th to 15, that's the next ship date. So what is really good is when you pull reports, I like to pull these every Monday if at all possible. And the reason I do that is because it makes me do my customer care a lot more frequently. And for anybody who's not good at customer care, you have to force yourself to do it. It's funny because I don't like doing customer care, but as soon as I do, I'm like, this is so awesome. I love my customers. And when I haven't done it for a while, I'm like, oh, this phone weighs 1,000 pounds. I don't want to pick it up. And as soon as I do, I surprise myself because very rare do I get somebody who's like, no, I don't want my Juice Plus anymore. No, I haven't been taking it. It's like, I surprise myself. So just if you're diligent in it, and I know Christy does a really great job of teaching her team that you can actually predict what your end of month is going to look like by putting all of your customer orders in a tracker. You can kind of add up and see how much volume you're going to have as long as nobody changes their order and they continue to ship out. So if you're close to being qualified, you can do that. I'm not quite that diligent with numbers. Yeah, that's Christy, you got me on that one.
Only because I don't like the unknown. Like I know if people want to qualify for their business or they have qualified and now they want to get to 1,600, I want to be able to give them this is how many like trio orders you need this month. So let's break it down week by week and see how many we can get so you can hit that goal. Because when I was a qualified VF who kept going in qualification and out of qualification, number one, I didn't know any of this. I didn't know what a qualified business was until I was a Q or like very senior sales coordinator. So I was way behind in this and I couldn't figure out why my paychecks were going up and down. Where one month I would hardly do any work at all, but miraculously I'd have a great check. And then the next month I would hit it hard because I was like, well, if that was a great check, then it's going to grow the next one. And then guess what? I fell out of qualification and my paycheck sucked. So then I get frustrated with the business and I blame the business instead of not blaming myself and being like, well, if you would have checked your reports, if you would have predicted the future, you would have had an awesome paycheck. So learning the hard way with crappy paychecks and lots of effort, I figured out now if I'm going to put effort in, I want to know what I need to do to get that paycheck.
It's spot on. And I think anybody who is in that feeling of the fear of unknown, that is exactly what you can do. And if you don't know how to do that, just get in touch with myself or Christy and we can help you with that. It's definitely, I've learned so much from her and what she does with her team that I think it's a really positive aspect to being able to see what your numbers mean. Now, what I think the key is to understand is you're going to see some of these in here, like let's find one. You see where it says Brandis Williams, like partway through down at the P.O. Box 25. If you scroll over, you're going to see, well, that's probably not the greatest example, but you'll see C's. No. Let's go down a little bit further. Under Kira, sorry, not Kira, Kira. I don't know what her name is. Anyways, when you see a C, she's got a complete order. It says L3. You guys see that? And midway through she had a pay in full order. It's under Kira Lobensoff. Man, I need my glasses. I'm getting old.
Can you use your mouse to show them?
Sure.
Yeah, that'll help.
Crud. There we go. I keep forgetting that you guys can see my mouse. So this one right here. This C right here, generally a C means canceled. Here's the thing, and this is that you learn very quickly when you log on and you get your genealogy and you have somebody who ordered and you're like, what the heck? Why didn't they tell me that they canceled their order? They said they love their Juice Plus. They wanted the order ship. Why does it say C? Because I know I didn't go in and cancel it. And what I found out over time is generally it's not that people have called and canceled it. It's that there's something wrong with their credit card and it was time for it to ship and it couldn't ship. So it automatically goes to a C. So if you have a question about what the C is, I always call corporate and there I did it again. And ask them, what am I doing? Sorry guys. And ask them, hey, did the customer cancel it or is there something wrong with their credit card? And 9 times out of 10, there's something wrong with their credit card. It expired or, they had to cancel it and they forgot to tell you what their new one is. So you can just get in touch with your customer and tell them. The ones that I get really concerned about are the people where it says HC, because HC means it's gone to collections. And generally it's internal collections, but you want to talk about some pretty PO'd people when they get a call from corporate because we didn't do our due diligence in checking your genealogy to see if their card was declined. And then all of a sudden they're in collections and they think that their credit score is going to plummet. Again, mostly internal collections, but the sheer fact is that, they have to be able to use strong language with customers who haven't paid because, it costs money to make Juice Plus. Therefore, the company is out of money if people don't pay for it. And then what you don't see on here is you don't see any Ds. You don't see any declines. And that's really what I'm looking for when I pull a genealogy besides customer orders that are about to ship. I'm looking for any Ds because those declines, if you don't have them paid out by the end of the month, if you don't get it fixed, then that's money out of your pocket. Like you're not getting paid on that order. And so it's important that you get those fixed. And you don't want to wait until the last minute because how many times do we pull genealogy reports on like the 27th or 28th of the month? And then we're trying to get in touch with somebody and they're out of town or you can't reach them or they don't get back to you, and so you're scrambling trying to find the person so that you can clear up the decline. So is there any questions about the genealogy?
I'm sorry, my phone cut out for a second. So the decline means that the customer has declined something?
It means that the credit card couldn't be processed for the payment. So
Okay.
yeah, and that's a tough one. Again, a majority of the time, it's mostly because of changes to expiration dates or, how many. Like I've had my identity stolen 3 times, and every time you have to get new credit cards, and it's just a hot mess. And so and then you forget what you have on credit cards for automatic payment. So most of the time, people forget to call me. But like I have one customer. She's so diligent about it. She's like, yep, someone stole my card again. And I think she's had somebody steal her card number probably 6 or 7 times in the last 2 or 3 years. And she always knows who the first person. I'm like on speed dial because they can't live without their Juice Plus. I love it. Well,
So does it mean the previous order was canceled or the one that's going to be shipped is not going to work?
no, it means, are you talking about the D or the C?
The D.
The D means they tried to process the payment for the month. Like especially it'll happen with installments. And it means that the company wasn't able to process the credit card for that monthly payment. So what ends up happening is, let's say that I have a customer whose credit card declined last month, and here we are, and I still haven't been able to get a hold of them, and it's already supposed to process again. They now have double payments that they have to pay to get back into good standing, if you will. So it's not uncommon, especially if I have someone who has a Tower Garden. She was a lead from the company, and she has a Tower Garden order. And her card has been declined for months, and I've tried so hard to get a hold of her, and it's probably been 4 or 5 months. So now she's going to have 4 or 5 months worth of payments to catch up on.
Okay.
So, and the company's trying to get a hold of her. I've tried to get a hold of her, and it's just like, well, you do the best you can, with your customer service. I mean, there's only so much that you can do. But yeah, you just have to call the person and get new credit card information. And if you have people who are very leery about giving you their credit card information, don't be afraid to give them the telephone number for corporate and say, hey, I know you might not want to give me your information. I'm totally trustworthy, but I totally understand if you don't want to. Feel free to call the company, but your order was, your credit card was declined and we need to get updated credit card information. I very rarely have people who are nervous about giving it to me. The only people who are nervous about that are leads from the company who don't know me from Adam. So it's a great question. Any other questions on this?
Did you go over what A means?
A means active. So A
Okay.
is active. R means that you've had a change to the order.
Okay.
So maybe you change it, like if an order is supposed to ship out tomorrow and you have to change it to next month, it would have an R next to it.
And P?
P are one-time orders.
Okay.
Yeah, and the P's annoy the heck out of me on our orders because on our genealogy, you don't see those on here, but man, it makes my report it's like 45 pages because we have so many P's. You get to the point, P's are an interesting thing because a lot of people think that, oh, well, I'll just do a one-time payment for like complete. But they actually charge more for shipping when you do a one-time order of complete than if you put them on preferred customer order. And I mean, that's where we come in for the P's. People who get one-time shipment, they don't continually pop up on my virtual office to tell me that their order is shipping out in the next 10 days. So I obviously could do better customer care by looking at my genealogy, but the fact is that I don't have that constant reminder where I can, to call my customer because they only got that one-time order. So when you're getting orders, I would definitely not, I don't even offer it, to be truthfully honest, to customer prospects. I just don't.
Okay.
All right. Okay. And each of these codes, there's on the first page of the genealogy, when you guys pull yours up, you'll be able to see it. There's a whole code list. So it's going to tell you what all these mean. Like C3 is your trio capsule, L2 is complete. I think is that vanilla or chocolate? L3 is variety, N3, there's just all of these are on the first page. So you'll be able to go back and kind of double check and see. T1 is a tower garden, a basic tower garden order. All right. Again, here it is. Here's that. It really spells it out. It's kind of neat how all you have to do is go back and look at it. And the cool thing is that if you're writing something into a report, you can go back and look and see what this is and then be able to cross-reference it with what the point value is based off of, whatever kind of, like if you're trying to get to VF or something like that, you pull up that way. So, I totally understand, Markel. Markel says her kids are melting. I don't blame you. This has been a long call, guys. Sorry. Okay. So this is the tracker that I was telling you about for qualified business. So where you can look on here and then cross-reference it and then put it into the tracker. Okay. So those two are the big ones. Again, in them, they all mean about. There's so much you can get out of it, and it just comes with practice, looking at them often, and then being able to get, honestly, what I would do is ask your upline for coaching on it. Just be able to pull it up and say, okay, tell me, I don't understand what this means. I sat through, the reports training, but what does it all mean? And pull it all together. And you'll only know it based off of what you're experiencing in your business. And so the only other one that I use a lot of, and again, this is one that I think I'll ask somebody else to pull up if you guys don't mind, because I don't want to overwhelm people. Do you guys know about the 12-month analysis report? Has anybody pulled that one before? No? Heather, do you want to pull yours if I teach you?
Sure.
Okay, so I want you to share screen on your, can you do that for me?
I think she's on her phone.
Yeah, I was on my phone. I can pull it up on my phone if I need to.
Can you screen share on a phone?
Some things, but most things you can't. That might be hard.
All right. Does anybody else want to pull up theirs if they're on their computer? Nobody?
What are we pulling up? I don't think I would. Haven't.
Teresa's really, really new, so I don't think reading her 12 months analysis would be very beneficial.
I can send it to Christy.
Yes, you can send it to me. So do you want to give her directions again and I'll.
Okay. So when you go under, okay, let me just go under here so I can show you. All right, you guys see, I'm gonna go back to my virtual office. Of course, log in. Okay, so KPIs, key personal indicators is what KPI stands for. You're gonna go to My Business and Team at a Glance. And then what you're gonna do is you're gonna scroll all the way down to 12-month analysis report. And you're gonna click on the 12-month analysis report. Okay? And that's what I want you to send her.
Okay.
And I don't want to show you mine because, again, just like you were saying, Christy, I don't want to. It's too many numbers. I want to keep it super simple. And so
while I'm waiting for Heather to send this, when I was at Q School, Tanya Oxley is really good at numbers, which thankfully she's going to be teaching us all how to use to make the most of our compensation plan. But even at Q School, I was overwhelmed when she was showing someone else's PVC report. I was like, what is this? So what I found was going back to my report, when you start learning your report, especially now if you're new in the business, best time to start doing there, because even though 1,000 points or 1,600 points in your customer qualification may seem overwhelming, the great thing is that your upline knows how to say, okay, maybe we can't do it all in 1 month based upon how much effort you can put into it, but let's plan ahead the next 2 or 3 months. Let's see what we can do long term. And if you stay consistent, like Amy said at the beginning, then your business is going to flourish because you're touching it every single day. So best time to learn about this is at the beginning because it's not overwhelming. You know, you've got 4 customers. Like that means number one, you can do a great job taking care of those customers like that. In that, if you can start developing customer care skills, habits right away, man, you'd be farther than Amy and I ever were because we both sucked at customer care.
it's legit.
Yeah.
And I didn't learn this stuff for years. I was like you, Christy. I was a senior sales coordinator before I took an interest in actually learning what this all meant. It wasn't that my upline didn't try to teach me. I think I overwhelmed myself. And I think it's a lot of words coming out of our mouths and reports that just seem like a blob of numbers. But you just take it one step at a time.
And one of the things that helps, and Amy, I don't know if you do this or not, but I love colored pens.
Yeah,
and
do.
I color all over you guys' PVC reports, so you start to learn, how it works. So give me a chance to color, man. Even if it's Team Trigger, I don't care. Let me color. And then I scan it and I give it back to you. So you have that and you can put it in a folder like what Amy does. But it's great to print it out and to figure out what the numbers are, what you need to do and write your goals on it for the next month. It's wonderful.
Absolutely. And taking it on the first or the second day of the month is probably really, I find to be most beneficial because the first or the second day of the month gives you what your final numbers basically were for the end of month.
Yeah, it's the best time to do that.
Absolutely. Because again, like I said, these are all snapshots in time.
Yep. And if you're doing installment orders every month, as long as these customers are going to continue to pay and get their orders, keep up with their billing and stuff, you're going to grow consistently and you're going to be able to look back, like Amy said, what were you at last month on the 15th, and be able to track that. Wish I would have done it. Really, I think one of the great things is we've kind of done it the wrong way and still made it. So now we can make you better.
Absolutely.
Heather, did you send that to me, Dal?
Yes, it's finally coming. It wouldn't send through. I had to open up my email and save it and all this crazy stuff.
Okay. Yeah, that one's a little bit different than the other two. Not so much as plug and play sometimes.
So the other two were snapshots in time. This one is not. This one is I think this one is one of the better ones of being able to cross-reference where you were a year ago to where you are today. Because it is a 12-month analysis. And that's why I think this final report I like saving this one for last because this is the one I love to look at with my team members, and I love to go over it with them because the majority of people that get on there, they'll look at it and it's completely eye-opening. It's either, holy crap, I've sucked it up the last couple months and I really need to figure out what my problem is so that I can just go up, or it's nailed it because all of a sudden, they've had this 200% increase over 12 months, or it may be just a little bit of an increase, or you can see how stagnant people are. So this is going to be a really good example of at least you can see how it's set up so that over time this is where you'll find. What's up, babe?
It's coming in. Sorry, I just got really excited. Here we go. Okay. Hold on. Hi.
Okay, perfect. All right, so you'll see it slightly different when it's on your virtual office, but this is exactly the way it should be. So you'll find that, and you probably can't see my cursor, right?
No, where do you want me to go?
Start with September of 16, because the very first thing that you want to do is look at month-end payout. And you'll see the changes over time. You'll see, I'll be in there at 6. Okay. Okay. So you'll see, that to go from $23 and then like you made $85 in October, etc. When you get a chance and it's a full year, you're going to be able to see a really good comparison between where you were, in December, January of 17 versus where you were in December of 16. That didn't make any sense. Of 15. Yeah, whatever. Anyways, you can tell it's been a really long day. Supplemental payout. You got a $100 bonus. Yay for DD, right? Woo woo.
Me, baby.
I love it. And then the next one is the RSP. That's retail sales profit. Now, as you continue to grow your business, once you make sales coordinator, really we want that to be between $300 and $400. That's generally what I look for my sales coordinator and above, to be at least $300 in RSP, because that means I've got a really strong customer base, and that means that there's orders coming in still. I'm still working for my what we call Royal Crown. We really want you to try and get 5-1. So 5 customer orders and a new distributor. If you do that consistently, and for some people that seems very overwhelming, but when you do small ball, that shouldn't be too overwhelming because you're out there putting people in your pipeline all the time. And so that RSP will really be consistent. Earnings, commissions. So you'll notice under here that she had $21 in November of 2016 under commissions. And so that's because she now is at 6% for her commission level. So that's exciting. It looks like you had $15 in commissions, but you maybe didn't have any new orders in December of 16. And so they're not going to pay out unless you have $30. Unless you are, Heather, do you have direct deposit?
Direct deposit, no. A check deposit, not with me.
Well, that's how you could probably pretty much tell that you're not direct deposit, because they didn't pay anything out last month. But it's normally because you have to have $30 in your bank, if you will, before they'll pay that out. So,
Okay.
So next month or this month, if you get a couple customer orders or reoccurring orders that go out, you'll get a paycheck from that. So,
Okay.
PB and POB, these are all numbers that we see. You'll see increase over time as you get PB qualified, and you get a 5% bonus on your volume. And then POB is a 4%. So you'll see that increase as well. And eventually, when you get a little bit further in the business, you're going to see another line, and it's going to say BIB, which is business incentive bonus. And that's awesome. That's basically the company paying us money that's intended for us to go out and travel and see our teams and, business expenses, etc. So that's pretty awesome. I love getting that part of my paycheck. And then all of this information down below, you're going to learn over time exactly what all of this means. The different levels, PB 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And what we want to see is we wanted to see it to grow like this. You want it to be more like a triangle. So let's say if you had 2,000 in PB1, you would want 4,000 in PB2, 8,000 in PB3, 16,000 in PB4, and 32,000 in PB5. Like that's how you're maxing out like the amount that you can make in generations. All of this, don't worry about it now. Like I don't want you guys to even worry about what all of that means. I just want you to remember that when you get to your generations, eventually I want your numbers to look like this. Okay.
So basically, Amy, so Amy taught you guys how to be an A+ sales coordinator, even if you're not a sales coordinator yet, getting the 1,600 in column 6, and being able to teach your team to get 1,600 in their column 6, and then going over to column 4 and doing 34, right? 32. 32. And then when you're a sales coordinator and you're in your next column, in the 5 column, is making sure that says 6,400. If you can start to remember, number one, how you get customer qualified into 1,600, and then you help growing your dealers and direct distributors as they grow up, that volume is going to fall in a line to 3,200. And then as you continue to teach them to do that, it's duplication, then you're going to get to sales coordinator to 6,400 POB. But it's one step at a time, and focusing on your line and getting that, and then teaching your team how to do it is going to show where Amy just showed those different levels. It should look like a Christmas tree, basically. You're already going to have that in place. Learn how you're doing this right now and teach them what works best for you. Amy and I have been doing this for a long time. So sometimes it's really good to have things that are fresh in your head. Like you guys are you're on the front lines right now doing it more than we are, because we've already hit our 1,600.
Absolutely. So
Okay.
sales coordinators, basic foundation, and create duplication. Duplication is the key to this business. Teaching other people to do exactly what you're doing and keeping it simple. This didn't seem so simple. I know that because we've spent an hour talking about it, and it's every time I do, it's like, oh my gosh, I would have been so overwhelmed as a brand new person coming into this. But here's the thing, you just have to hear it over and over and over again. So then talk to your upline again and be like, so about that genealogy report or about that PVC report, what does this mean? What does this mean? What does this mean? And like Christy said, I will write, I've got pretty pens too. I'll write all over.
Get those pretty pens out. And remember, it takes 7 exposures for a customer. It's going to take you 7 exposures at least with this report.
Right.
So,
all right.
it's fun.
What kind of questions? Do we have any questions?
Are y'all going to sleep really good tonight?
Need to soak it all in.
I know it. Well, just get back on to the event again. And if you ever have any questions, just write some questions into there so we know they're specific to reports. But the key is why do we care? We care about reports because they're the basic foundation of our business. They are going to help you grow quickly, more efficiently. And honestly, you want to be the person who understands these kind of things and not the person who doesn't. Because later on, people are going to ask you what they mean. And if you don't know, how are you going to duplicate? So we duplicate by creating a big fat knowledge foundation right up here that says, I care about this because it's important.
Is there like an etiquette standard as far as like one of my only distributor? It looks like hers and one of her customers was declared or their credit card, something was declined, their credit card. So she doesn't seem to really care about working it. Like I've tried to explain to her that we're supposed to talk frequently to kind of like help each other learn, and I would help her and, she doesn't live here. She lives about 2 hours away, but we could somehow work together to have events or something. But at what point could I be like, she's not talking to her customers. Can I step in and call this customer and say, I'm calling on Hillary's behalf? Like you're not going to get your order, because I don't know anything about the customer either. Hillary doesn't seem to be interested. She joined, but doesn't seem to be interested in like taking any further steps. I don't want her customers to have a bad experience if she's not really interested in running the business. You know what I mean?
You have every right to talk to that person because they're in your downline. And so it's important that you reach out to her customers if she's not doing the customer care that you need to do it yourself.
Okay.
Because at some point she might decide this business isn't for her. And if she cancels her distributorship, that person's going to become automatically your customer anyways.
Okay.
You might as well. And I would just call her and say, hey, hi, my name is Heather. I'm Hillary's friend. And we work together with Juice Plus. And I was going through one of my reports and I noticed that your credit card declined. And I know it was probably like an expiration date or something. You can just be, I hate basically saying I'm accusing you of overdrawing your credit cards and therefore, you need to pay Juice Plus, because that's not usually the case. So just make it, hey, my report is showing that your credit card declined, and I was just wondering if maybe you had an updated expiration date or a new card number that you could give me.
Okay.
And I can get that taken care of. And they might be like, I don't really know who you are. And you're like, and if you don't want to give it to me, that's perfectly okay. You can call 901-850-3000, option 1.
Okay.
Boom. So that's really what you can do. So, you can keep it nice and simple, but, there's certain terms that I've noticed that work, that get people to call you back.
Okay.
And things like, hi, my name is Heather. I work with Hillary with Juice Plus Company. And I noticed that your credit card declined, and I don't want your card to go, or I don't want you to go into collections. Will you please give me a call back so I can make sure that we get updated credit card information? The
Okay.
word collections makes people call back.
Yes.
It really does, because who the heck wants to go into collections? Nobody I know. So I think, just being respectful about it. And, and I usually tell my distributors, hey, I don't know, are you following up with that person? If not, I'm going to do it. And I usually give them a day to get back to me. And if I don't hear back from them, then I'll start calling.
Okay. I guess I can't figure out how to help her to get it, that it's a group effort, like it's teams working together. It's not just like, here, I'm going to give you this, be on your own. Like, you're supposed to follow up and help them to be healthier. It's not just like you sell them a product and you're done. Like, you have to continue. So I'm not really sure how to reach her, because I've invited her to lots of things and lots of calls, and she doesn't get on anything. And I don't know. Anyway, that's for another call.
I remind people very nicely that I say, when you decided to become a distributor, you get your paycheck, you're getting paid to do customer care. That's really why we're paid. We're paid for our time and energy and effort in doing customer care, getting people on the products and following up with them. And if she's not doing that, then it comes down to, does she want to be a part of the team? And if she doesn't, you're going to find that if you looked at the rest of my PVC report, you would notice that there's a lot of them out there that maybe have 1 or 2 orders. People who have, at one time were VFs and have like 50 PVC left. Not everybody gets it the way that we get it. Not everybody, but most of the time it's because they haven't had an income experience that makes them excited to be able to grow a business. And so, and if she just doesn't show that interest, you just have to, it's like, next, moving on. You don't have to say hi Felicia or anything. You just have to move on and get new people to join your team. So, because there's, we have a common, this is a numbers, everything we do is about numbers, right? But this is a numbers business. You can talk to 100 people about the business. 10 people will sign up as distributors and 1 will be a rock star. So I want that to sink in, because you're going to find that you're going to probably sign up a lot of distributors just like her, and people that are excited at first, and then the excitement kind of drops off. And if you get a chance to listen to Kelsey did a great training yesterday. You get into what they call the Valley of Suck. Like, they're excited about it, and then they realize they have to work hard at this. And then they go into this Valley of Suck where it's like, oh, is this worth the energy and effort? And then how do they pull themselves out of it? And the people who pull themselves out of it are the ones that are like, heck yeah, I'm going to rock this, and I'm going to have so much fun doing it. And then they start being, building a business like Stacy does. Like, she's been rocking her business since she came to conference, like just crushing it. And what is she doing? She's going out there and just telling her story to people, and people get it. Like, because there's such a human, raw piece to how we do this business. When we are so raw and we're out there and we're being very transparent about our lives and saying, you know what? Life kind of sucked before. Like, I had a kid who was sick a lot, and then I got on Juice Plus, and now all of a sudden my kids have never missed a day of school for being sick. Like, there's something so so raw when people can share that emotion. Kids who get off of asthma and allergy medications, people who have cancer who, go into remission, who felt that, that they were probably going to die. And does Juice Plus have a bit to do with that? Yeah, I really do think so. That, because what does it do? One of the last questions that we're always asked in our surveys are, Christy, help me with the verbiage here. It's like it was a yes or no response, but do you feel like
Some positive experience.
yes, it was not just a positive experience, but an increase in and how your outlook in life or something like that, or something crazy like that. And I don't think I ever had a single person say no.
Yeah.
Everybody who'd been on Juice Plus for 4 months, who took it every single day, was like, absolutely yes. Okay, well then don't you want to share that with other people? Do you have anybody that you can refer me to?
I mean,
So-
81% of children in the Children's Health Study are more aware of their health. Just saying that might create a legacy of a family history of disease that's going to be less now because they're more aware of their health at young age.
Absolutely. So I went on a tangent on there. Heather, I don't want you to get discouraged by people like Hillary, because I think we need Hillarys in our business to like push us into reality that says that, you know what, we're going to pull on people like that, but then we're going to pull on people who are going to crush it, and we're going to get so excited to work with every single day.
Okay.
And then you're going to have this positive income experience that you're going to be so excited about. And then you're going to become an A+ sales coordinator and realize that what was probably plan D or E is now plan A in your life. It's there just waiting for you. It's just a matter of how do we take this business, and instead of treating it like a hobby, we treat it like a business. So, and reports are going to do that for you. You all doing reports, and I think I've kind of beat a dead horse now about reports, but the key is if you don't understand it, you need to talk to your upline. Have them go over this, and just like Christy said, 7 exposures. Expect 7 exposures to your PVC report to understand, and 7 exposures with somebody talking to you about it, not just looking at it 7 times. Okay? Okay, this was a long training. I knew it was going to be. I know no one gets excited when we talk about, I didn't get the fun topic. Like, thanks a lot, Christy.
Hey,
But-
Christy Rigdon was super excited about your training before at conference. She was like, this is the best. I love numbers. So there are people like that.
Well, I'm glad people like numbers. So if you want to talk numbers, I'm your girl, because I love just kind of, I literally put them up side by side, just and kind of scroll through and be like, oh, well, that person's not going to be qualified on their own if they don't, and it's great because that comparison, it has done big things for me in my business, because now I've been able to go back. I had to do this just the other day, and I had to go to a distributor and say, if you don't get a couple customer orders, you're gonna go through your excess like it's nobody's business, and you're no longer gonna be qualified. And I don't think I would be able to do that had I not had the comparison. So I don't want you guys to get crazy either about pulling reports. Like, don't do it every day. Just do it as you feel is necessary. Because there are some people who do it every single day. I'm not that crazy. But I think it's important to, pick days so that you can kind of cross-reference it. But make that folder in your email so that you can just put them in. So, because you're going to get those in your email every month. You're going to get genealogies that get sent to you. We just had genealogy sent to us. But you can pull it at any time. And that's the key. I want you to understand that you can pull it anytime. Okay?
Okay. Thank you.
Go